Welcome to the Ideal Investor Show. Join us on the journey to financial success. Let's go. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ideal Investor Show. And again, I want to remind you, like a lot of people have told me, hey, your stuff is really interesting and what Ideal Wealth Grower is doing, I really like and I would like to be part of it. I'm not sure if I really want to be part of the mentoring program quite yet or purchase properties quite yet. But other than that, it's really interesting. How can I do more? So I really want to encourage you to go to substack.com and then find Ideal Wealth Grower. And by the way, establishing an account at Substack is free, even though obviously I would love for you to subscribe as a paid subscriber. But if you can't do that, at least get onto Substack because you get so much information that it would really be great if you could do that. So what's today's episode's topic? And the topic today is virtual and augmented reality, transforming property showcases. Now, let me just explain really quick what is virtual and augmented reality. And those are actually two different things. One thing you have probably heard, and depending on your age, maybe even played around and participated in, and that is video gaming. Right. And some of the more sophisticated programs in video gaming, they create kind of like universes or realities where everything looks like it could exist in reality with maybe some modifications, like flying cars or stuff like that. But fundamentally, you are in an environment that has been artificially created and you can play a game within this artificial reality. Now, the virtual reality is basically taking something that really exists and make it available virtually or electronically or online. You can use these terms interchangeable. Now, where does this actually apply for property showcases? You may have seen over the years that we have transitioned from it was traditionally that if you wanted to look at a property, you had two options. You could look at what's called an expose, which is basically some pictures on, like, for example, Zillow or Realtor.com or any place like that, where the agent's putting some pictures and some data, and you can study based on those pictures and the data. And you might want to go onto Google Earth or Google Maps and look at the neighborhood. And then there are more and more tools that you can use about what would be possible rents and what's the crime rate and what are the schools, all that kind of stuff. So you gather all that information. Now, the one thing that was still always tricky is how can I see what is actually going on with this property for real? And the first thing that I had seen that some organizations started doing is they used what's called 360 cameras. It's basically a camera on a tripod with a little motor where you put the camera in the middle of each room and then you hit a button and it does basically a 360-degree picture. And you do this for every room in the house. And then you can stitch it together in the software and put it on like Zillow or some other places, the brokerage website. And so if you wanted to see how does the inside of a house look when the house is open, has an open house, anything like that, and you click yourself from room to room and you can basically move the camera around and see. You can move the camera around and see the imagery of the actual rooms. Now, then the next level was that you could basically have a real estate agent go through the house with a video camera and create basically a YouTube video, and you could watch that YouTube video. And if you combine the two, basically each individual room with the 360 camera and the video, you get a pretty good idea what it is. Now, in virtual reality, what can be done is you can take the same video footage, the same 360 footage, but now integrate that into a software system that lets you, as the user, decide what you want to do. And that is where the connection to the augmented reality comes in, because you become basically like a player in a video game. The only difference is this is not an artificial environment. It is the real environment that comes from real video and from real images. And you can basically walk through and behave and turn around. And the whole thing is basically behaving as if you were going through the house yourself. And the huge, huge benefit is that you can be theoretically in another country, on another continent, and take a look with your own eyes at a real house before making the decision if you want to buy it. And this is still in its early stages, the quality, or what's called the resolution of this virtual reality is getting better and better, so that when something looks like the paint is not really good, or it looks like a power outlet isn't really put in properly, or it looks like some of the cabinets are not quite right, if the resolution of the virtual reality is good enough, it's literally as if you were touching the actual stuff within the house. You can take a really, really, really close look. Well, and you can imagine that this means any house that offers the opportunity to review it and go through it in virtual reality is now available to anybody who wants to invest in properties in that location. And at the fidelity, meaning like at the level of detail that used to only be available when you actually went there. I used to say, like 5-6 years ago, to our investors, if you really want to make sure that the house that you're planning to invest in meets all your ideas and really looks the way that the pictures show, you should spend a few $100, get on a plane and fly there and look at it yourself. But with virtual reality, that would not really be necessary anymore. I would say right now it is getting there. The technology gets better and better, and it will definitely revolutionize the way we look at houses. And this is obviously much more relevant for us as investors than it would for anybody who is looking for a house for themselves, because I can't imagine that you would want to buy a house that you haven't really walked through if you want to actually move in there. But if you're investing and you're sitting somewhere like me in San Diego and you want to invest in a house somewhere in Ohio, would you really have to fly every time for every single house? And keep in mind, that means for the ones that you thought looked nice, and then you go there and you look at it and you find too many things, you may have spent the money, and it's probably still worth it to fly there and spend a night in a hotel. But it is 50-50 if the deal is actually the good deal that you're looking for, or a deal that on close inspection didn't really live up to it. In virtual reality, you can do all this without really spending any significant amount of money, and you can walk or play through as many houses as you want. So it's a little bit like a brave new world, but I'm really excited because it will open up the inventory that we can offer to our clients so much more, and it will increase your understanding and your conviction that the deal is really a good deal and that you really like the property much, much more the more this virtual reality stuff is growing and getting better and better. So I'm excited about it. I hope you are as well. And quick reminder, if you want to join our mentoring program, go to ideawealthgrower.com and then just find the button that says Discovery Call and set up a call and let's have a conversation so I can show you what we do and you can decide if our program is right for you. So that's it for today. Be well and stay safe, and I talk to you tomorrow.